The speaking out movement continues to out alleged abusers, and it ain't slowing down anytime soon. What's up, folks? Fred Richani, TSC, your home for sports news, updates, interviews, and everything in between. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Just to briefly catch you up to speed, I did not one, but two podcasts on the hashtag speaking out movement, which is essentially pro wrestling's version of the Me Too movement. A number of wrestlers have been outed. I think there's been like 70 or something accusations altogether, maybe more. I mean, I'm losing count at this point. It's just nonstop. People from WWE being added, people from AEW. The list goes on and on. Now, before I dive into this topic, I have to make a few disclaimers. One, the following content is pretty serious stuff. Two, we take all allegations seriously. Three, for legal reasons, I have to say this. This is all alleged behavior and allegations. Okay? I try to present the story. I try to put it out there. Let you decide. And obviously, things are pending investigation and things of that nature. So, no other way to really kind of go about this other than to just dive in. And by the way, once I'm done with this story, I'll catch you up to speed on some of the other stuff that's been updated since our last podcast. So, Patrick Clark, a.k.a. the Velveteen Dream, is accused of quote-unquote grooming. If you don't know what grooming is, it is when male or female predators target young men or women, mainly underage women and men, and groom them for sexual activity. It's quite disgusting. It's not limited to professional wrestling. It's happened in show business, quite a bit, unfortunately. Not just in pro wrestling, and it's very disturbing. So you may recall a few weeks ago, what surfaced was allegations of Velveteen Dream sliding into the DMs of a teenage boy. I think a couple of teenage boys actually, but one in particular. And all of a sudden, the story disappeared. Dream was challenging for the NXT title at TakeOver. I thought it was really bizarre because we never got like an official conclusion to the investigation. No public release from WWE that says, hey, we did our investigation. Dream is clear. Fast forward a few weeks when the floodgates are open, and a gentleman by the name of Josh Fuller, who's an independent pro wrestler at Josh Fuller PW on Twitter, and he posted the following tonight. I've been debating releasing this information for months now, but with everybody hashtag speaking out, I finally feel comfortable doing it. Part of me is still terrified for disclosing this. Patrick Clark, a.k.a. Velveteen Dream, is a groomer and a child predator. I'll post more proof below this tweet. Ooh, this is tough stuff to read, but here we go. I've been wanting to release this message ever since accusations a few months back. I feel terrible not speaking up until now, but there's no doubt in my mind that Velveteen Dream attempted to groom his teenage accusers. I met Patrick after he left Tough Enough at an indie show, and he told me to add him on Facebook. I was 16 at the time. He was 19. One day, he called me out of nowhere and then sent me his number afterwards. We would then become friends, at least I thought, and would frequently FaceTime after his NXT house shows. He was always really secretive and paranoid about me telling people I knew him. I always had an uneasy feeling when I would talk to him, as he spoke very manipulatively and aggressively. There weren't any direct advances made at the time, but everybody I spoke to would tell me he was trying to come on to me. We stopped speaking after a while and then recently reconnected. He even took me to his old training school a year ago, and attempted to be a mentor figure. My last interaction with him was a FaceTime call where he had insisted that I show off my body to him, saying he wanted to see my progress in the gym. I took my shirt off but reluctantly and felt uncomfortable about it. He then referenced wanting to see my lower body as well, which I declined. Upon leaving that call, I had realized I had still been on Discord with a few friends of mine, to which they immediately acknowledged that they heard everything of me being harassed. I've worn that shame for the past few months, and I felt very taken advantage of ever since. Upon hearing the recent claims of him, I was immediately heartbroken for the victims, as many of the conversations I'd seen were conversations that he had with myself, such as wanting to get them in shape so he could help get them to WWE. I would like to say that Patrick was never directly sexual to me. However, I have since day one been very on edge around him. He would constantly promise me things such as getting me into WWE someday, and I genuinely looked to him as a role model. He promised the same things to these kids and then used his fame to sexually harass them, thinking that they wouldn't speak up because of it. These kids were incredibly brave at ages 15, 16, and 17 to speak up on what they experienced, and watching countless people on here call them liars has been making me sick. I wish that I would have posted things earlier, but I was terrified that my wrestling career would be in jeopardy if I spoke up. That was foolish of me, and we can't let people like this succeed. Patrick Clark is a child predator and should not be in the wrestling business. I 1000% believe the victims who would like to stay anonymous. After seeing everything take place months ago, I immediately reached out to one of their Instagram accounts. He then added me to a group chat with other people he had harassed. I can confirm the phone number that they had given to me was indeed him. Defending those that have been accused simply because they are a, quote, celebrity is a BS mindset, and it needs to change. And then he posts a screenshot here of a Facebook messenger window with Patrick Clark. The profile pic is grayed out. I'm assuming Patrick either blocked him, deleted him, whatever, maybe deleted his account. And then he says, here you can see a better case of grooming. I mentioned wanting to hang out with him because I thought it would be cool, and you can see him having ulterior motives for my vulnerability. So he posts these screenshots, and I will link them as well in my story on fredrichani.com, as well as in the comments here on YouTube. So he messages him and says, hey, I'm going to be in Orlando in August. I hope you're around. Let's go bowling sometime. And he goes, sounds great, but I'd rather know some more about you before we start hanging out. And Josh said, it's cool with me. There's not really much to me besides just being your average teenage wrestling fan, though. Is there anything you want to know? He said, age, what do you do for a living? What are you coming to Orlando for? Basic questions. So he says, I'm going to high school, trying to train to become a wrestler, yada, yada. He says, all right, yeah, just keep in contact with me over the next few months. You do understand I'm not as open with you as you'd probably like. He said, for sure. And he said, good talk. And then from one of the accused, I guess he posted, this isn't from Josh, but I guess one of the accusers sent this to Josh. Here's one of the accusers from months ago giving evidence of a DM of Dream from one of his two devices. And, it looks like a censored nude pic, which I will not link. And then Josh followed up by saying, here's a screenshot of a friend provided proving that night that we got back in contact. If you look up on Twitter, quote, Josh Fuller, call me back, you can see a few people tweet the same thing out on the exact same date, which Dream did. Here's the autograph I got from him at the meet and greet. We met for further proof. And then he also posted something here. Here's another thread of things he said to a victim. This is straight from the group chat I mentioned earlier. So the separate thread is from ZY at the Kia, like the car, print. At the Kia print. I was asked to post some more screenshots from the victim. Don't bother defending Velveteen in my mentions because I'm just going to block and hide your comment. These are a few of many. There's over 70 that haven't been shown. Man, I don't know if I should just read all these out loud or probably just link them, but they don't look good. So I'll briefly go over a couple of them because they're disturbing. So this is an Instagram conversation. You got the Velveteen Dream handle with the Instagram, with the Instagram deal. Actually, you know what? Why the hell not? Let me just do this. So I'm just gonna put it on my screen here. Let's see if it actually pops up. There we go. Okay. So he says right here, I'm going to make my full screen so I can actually see this. I understand there's any recommendations on what I should start doing, though, workout-wise. He goes, do you have a girl? Not right now. Effing is the best cardio, is it? Yes. Don't believe. I'm still a virgin, so I don't really know. I feel weird reading this out loud. You in any shape? Not really. I've been starting to lose weight and stamina train. Progress pics. I'm not in the best shape currently. To leave that story, you have time to get in shape. I just did, but may I ask why? My interactions are sacred and private. Meant to be for the two of us alone. Understood. Oh my God, I love you so much. What do you want to chat about? How old are you? Yeah, I don't know. Some disturbing things here. I'm seeing if she has any others right now. Okay. Yeah, this one's a little weird. They badass. You're kind of grown. You're kind of grown to be 15. Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm 6'2", 205 pounds. Pretty too. You're going to be in good hands. I'm flattered you think so much of me. I like you a lot. It means the world to me. What else can I do for you to know our relationship is meaningful? Now, I should note, okay, these are all allegations. I have to say that legally. I should note, outside of that nude pic or censored nude pic that allegedly is him, I have not seen any proof. I don't want to say proof. And so far, based on what I've personally seen, maybe I missed something. I've not seen him directly soliciting sex from minors. However, it is a pattern of behavior, alleged behavior, that would make you question, some unsavory things. And I think at the very least, with respect to an actual investigation, with respect to the alleged victims, with respect to, I don't know, the old adage, innocent until proven guilty. NXT, or I guess Triple H, screw NXT, Triple H, WWE, Vince McMahon, they got to do a real investigation here. And something tells me, given the fact that they just pretended this went away and left it at that maybe they're not going to further investigate. Maybe they're just going to call BS. Maybe they're just going to move on and keep booking him. I don't know. Look, and I don't know Patrick Clark personally. I don't know everything that's going on. All I can say is this: with respect to both sides of the equation, you should have put this man on ice for at least a few weeks. You should have taken him off of NXT TakeOver. You should have taken him off of TV. Okay? And you know what? If you happen to believe him or happen to have evidence that does not incriminate him, or you think maybe this quote-unquote evidence is too vague, too ambiguous to really act on it, okay. You know what? At least release a statement. At least have some semblance of transparency here. But instead, you kind of ignore it. And what that tells your fans, and quite frankly, some of the wrestlers and employees and other people in your company, is that, you know what? If you're a big star and you get accused of something heinous like this, guess what? We're just going to ignore it, or we'll release a BS statement, and then we'll pretend it goes away and nobody will ask us about it again, and we'll book the guy in a title match. That's the kind of message it sends. Right or wrong, aesthetically, public relations-wise, that's the kind of message it sends. And you know what? You could really make the argument that they should have taken it more seriously with that nude pic, alleged nude pic. And actually, I do think Dream actually did acknowledge it and say it was leaked or whatever. Now, there was also, I believe, an audio recording of Dream's voice that he sent via Instagram message, and I don't remember the exact contents of it because I think it was removed for copyright reasons by WWE or some copyright claim. But look, at the very least, it's disturbing. And the fact that there would be not one, not two, but like three people at least, and granted, maybe they're in the same circles, I don't know, that have come out against Dream about this. I mean, to me, again, if you really want to know the truth, if you really care about having an independent investigation, which at the moment, based on actions, it doesn't seem like WWE does. Okay, if I was in that position as Triple H, here's what I would do, whether I like Dream or not. And clearly he's very high on Dream. I would put this man on ice for at least a month. Put him on ice. Here, dude, you say you're innocent. You say nothing happened. Okay, provide us the information. Lay low. Stay on ice. We're going to look into this. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert. I should probably talk to a legal expert on what you can really do, what you can really look up. I mean, these are serious allegations. Again, I don't know if he's actually ever... I haven't seen anybody accuse him of actually soliciting sex with minors. Okay, that I have not seen. However, there's enough evidence there, or, screenshots, receipts, whatever you want to call them, where at the very least you could draw a very disturbing conclusion. And as for what a quote-unquote punishment should be, as for how you proceed with this, look, I'm not an expert at this stuff. I don't know. But what I do know is that I think the worst possible response is ignoring it and continuing to put the guy on TV in main event situations. That, to me, I think, is insensitive to all parties, to everybody, and especially to fans of yours that either have been victims of some type of harassment or abuse, or know somebody that has been a victim of harassment or abuse. So, not a good look, to say the least. The reason, I'm doing this video is because Dream is a big star. This is a major story. And, I think people should at least cover it, right? Like, look, it's out there. We're putting it out there. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. And I knew this business was was pretty dirty, as far as certain aspects, and a lot of great people in it. But I know there's a lot of bad people in it too. I know that there are people out there that are child predators and stuff like that. But man, this hashtag speaking out has revealed things that have even surprised me, and it's horrifying. It's sad. Again, legally we have to say all these are allegations, but just air quotes, because they're allegations does not mean you should dismiss them, does not mean you shouldn't investigate them, does not mean you shouldn't take them seriously, particularly if it's in regards to a talent that is employed by some of the biggest companies in the world, like All Elite Wrestling, and of course, like WWE, which, oh, by the way, is publicly traded. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And yes, I am also aware, and for people that have slid in my DMs, and there have been a number of people, I am aware, okay, that there are a number of black athletes that have at times been falsely accused of certain things. Not necessarily grooming, but other things. And it's turned out to be false. I've covered stories like that too. I understand that. I understand the sensitivity of everything. But look, man, I don't care if it's Velveteen Dream. I don't care if it's the Ice Cream Man. I don't care who it is. If somebody is accusing a person, particularly a major public figure, of something like this, at the very least, we got to listen. At the very least, we got to investigate. And, I sincerely hope more information comes out, no matter how disturbing or myth-busting it is, whatever the case may be. I just hope we get more information, because it's disturbing. And if it is true, it's not right. And if it is true and WWE is protecting him, that's definitely not right. So, again, with respect to Patrick Clark, with respect to the alleged victims, with respect to the fact that, again, legally, allegations, not good. So let's get some other news real quick. This is all very depressing stuff. So Impact Wrestling released a statement regarding sexual abuse allegations against their talent. Man, there's been allegations against Joey Ryan, Michael Elgin, and Dave Christ. I should know one of the people who did accuse Joey Ryan of at least flashing them. But whatever. It's another story for another day, I guess. Impact Wrestling said, "It is a core value of the Anthem organization that we conduct our business with respect and integrity, providing a safe and secure work environment for our employees and performers. We are following carefully the various allegations being made through social media and are reviewing all incidents involving Impact Wrestling talent and personnel to determine the appropriate course of action." That's a cool statement, but the problem is Impact also currently has a world champion that has been outed for saying the N-word with the hard ER and bullying. Granted, a few years ago, but still. Also, they employ Moose, who's been linked to domestic violence. I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of these wrestling promotions, even WWE. I'm not saying Vince McMahon did something or didn't do something. All I'm saying is you could Google Vince McMahon. You could find a list of things he's been linked to that are anywhere between unsavory and criminal. I'm saying linked to for legal reasons. So, yeah, when people at the top of these companies either are linked to certain things are not good, or don't give a damn, or don't seem to give a damn, it's kind of hard to quote-unquote conduct an investigation, right? I'm not necessarily saying that's the case for AEW, but for Impact, WWE, I don't know. WWE has released Jack Gallagher following a sexual assault claim. There's actually two sexual assault claims. So there was one where this young woman named Becky tweeted about how at a 2014 New Year's Eve party, Gallagher was trying to get her drunk, made advances, burst into the bathroom, and ripped down her skirt before she was able to leave. I don't know if this other story also came from Becky. She's since made her Twitter account private, and quite frankly, I don't blame her, given some of the vitriol from some of these scumbags on Twitter. And I'm not gonna say it was her. I don't remember exactly who, but I do recall reading another allegation that stated that Jack Gallagher did attempt to penetrate a woman when she was asleep or half conscious or whatever, which is also horrifying. And then I know Slay Mysterio, Tori, who has since outed David Starr as an alleged rapist. She also tweeted that Jack Gallagher allegedly raped her friend. Let me get the exact. I just want to make sure I get the exact tweet here. So she quote tweeted the young woman, and she said, "We don't know each other, but Jack raped one of my best friends. I've been angrily sitting on that for a long time, but she hasn't been ready to tell her story. I believe you. You are so brave." This is from Tori, Twitter handle @Slay Mysterio. Yeah. Dave Lagana, he was accused by independent wrestler Liz Savage of sexual assault. He has resigned from his position as, I think, producer, writer, pretty much the everything man at National Wrestling Alliance at NWA Wrestling. I believe NWA was all like his idea. The reboot was all his idea, and now he's gone. Not that I have really much sympathy for him because he's been linked to some other things. And again, I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I'm just saying there's a pattern of allegations against him that is disturbing to say the least. So, yeah, I don't know where NWA goes from here. I mean, obviously that's the least of people's worries who are victims of assault, but you know, it is certainly notable because, again, he was heavily embedded in that company. WWE released a few statements. They released one on Matt Riddle, who was accused of sexual assault by independent wrestler Candy Cartwright, a woman that he allegedly saw while married, but later stopped seeing and still sexually assaulted her. Also, there's been allegations, too, from Jamie Senegal, another independent wrestler, a young man who claims, Matt, tried to woo him, and among other things, and also corroborating a lot of the allegations from Candy Cartwright. By the way, Matt Riddle made his SmackDown debut, and they didn't edit it out. And I didn't watch SmackDown because I'm just appalled by everything wrestling right now. And apparently, the whole roster celebrated with him. So again, I'm not allegations, but worst case scenario, if this were to be true about Matt Riddle, and he is further outed or whatever the case may be, WWE on Fox just broadcast Matt Riddle defeating AJ Styles, one of their top stars, and celebrating with the entire roster. WWE does not know how to read a room. You see a pattern here? Whether Velveteen Dream or Matt Riddle and all these other guys are innocent or not, even if you believe they are innocent, I think you have a moral responsibility to be respectful of your audience, okay, and of victims, and say, you know what? Out of respect, not just for the investigation on hand, not just for all the parties involved, but for our fans, to show that we are sensitive and we actually care, and we don't just make BS PR statements. Guess what? We're going to put Dream on ice for a little while. We're going to figure this thing out, and we're going to come to a conclusion. We're going to put Matt Riddle on ice for a little while. We're going to edit him off the show, maybe even do some stupid angle to write him off the show, and we'll keep him on ice for a while, pending further investigation. Boom. Is that so hard? And look, if we're keeping it real, some of these allegations, unfortunately, are not going to result in everything, right? And everything people want. Okay, in the case of Jack Gallagher, he lost his job. In the case of, I believe West Yorkshire Police is currently doing an investigation. In the case of some of these, it might result in actual prosecutions, arrests. That's great. In other cases, whether true or untrue, they might result in nothing. Triple H, somebody in AEW, somebody in one of these other promotions might say, you know what? Yeah, we take allegations seriously, but either we don't care or we believe our guy and we don't believe you, so piss off. And that can happen too. We've seen it in other sports, not just wrestling, unfortunately. So, I think we got to mentally prepare ourselves for that too. That being said, I do think when allegations are fresh, when they're out there, when they're public, when it's a major story, especially when you're a publicly traded company, when you have all these fans, when you have a dwindling number of fans, quite frankly, I think you owe it to them to show some sensitivity, to show some responsibility, to showcase some respect to them. Just some respect. Okay, it's not about sticking it to the man or sticking it to, these Twitter people. Like, no, man. Okay, if it were me, whether I believe the person or not, if I was the boss, guess what? I'm taking him off the show. I'm gathering as many facts as possible, and then I'm in the unenviable task of figuring out, okay, what the hell do I do next? They at least owe the fans that. But WWE is going to do WWE. I mean, they didn't do any COVID testing until the middle of this week after a developmental wrestler tested positive. I'm not kidding. They did no COVID testing since the pandemic began in Florida, which, oh, by the way, has surged to like 4,000 daily cases. Way to go, WWE. They're clearly in their own world. Anyway, they also released a statement on the sexual harassment / assault allegations against NXT UK stars Wolfgang, Jordan Devlin, Travis Banks, El Ligero, Joe Coffey. Off the top of my head, I can't remember all the specifics about Travis Banks. I know Joe Coffey has been accused of just harassing women in the DMs and sending them unsolicited nudes, with some screenshots that have appeared on my Twitter account that were disturbing. Wolfgang, according to his former fiance, not only mentally abused her to her core, but allegedly had pictures of schoolgirls on his devices and admitted that to her. Again, allegations, but horrifying allegations. Jordan Devlin, according to a former partner with photos of bruises, says that he assaulted her, domestic violence. And El Ligero accused of trying to solicit sex and groom trainees. So WWE's statement, individuals are responsible for their own actions. WWE has a zero tolerance for matters involving domestic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault. Upon arrest for such misconduct, a WWE talent will be immediately suspended. Upon conviction for such misconduct, a WWE talent will be immediately terminated. WWE's ability to find, suspend, or terminate a WWE talent will not be, however, limited or compromised in any manner in the event incontrovertible evidence of such illegal misconduct is presented to WWE. So, there you go. Not good. Not good at all, my friends. Some really sad stuff. Some really sad. A lot of stuff's still coming out. I'm just trying. Seriously, like the second I leave my computer, there's more things that come out. The second I leave my phone, I'm just trying to make sure I have kind of like the most up-to-date news before I hop off. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me. I appreciate you guys, following along and everything. I mean, just a sad deal again. These allegations shall be taken seriously. Whether you believe them or not, I guess we gotta wait and see. I mean, it's horrifying. It's horrifying what these people went through, and it's bad. It's just bad. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it for the most part. I think that's pretty much it. But man, really sad stuff. David Bixenspan tweeted, "There's 33 male wrestlers on Impact's roster. At least 6 have been credibly accused of hurting women, and mostly before this week to boot. The company's credibly accused of doing a fake, quote, independent HR investigation to weed out, quote, disloyal talent. Something's got to change." Yeah, believe it or not, I actually heard that too. I didn't hear it in those exact words, but I heard I don't know. I've heard things that Impact. I'm not saying Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, bad guys or anything, but they whether intentionally or unintentionally, seem to harbor a lot of talents that people don't want, and quite frankly, for good reason. Not everybody, Not everybody, of course. I like Jordan Grace. I like some of the other talents. But, it's a lot of other dudes that probably wouldn't have jobs if Impact wasn't around. And I'll leave it at that. Folks, I'll keep an eye on this situation. If you want to check out more updates, visit fredrichani.com. That's my official website, fredrichani.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, obviously YouTube, our podcast, the TSC News Podcast. Please feel free to subscribe and enable notifications. I don't just cover professional wrestling, I also cover pro football, which currently doesn't have a lot of good news either because a number of players are testing positive for COVID. I cover pro basketball. I cover pro baseball. Also cover a lot of sports video games. I do a lot of sports app reviews like ESPN Plus and WWE Network and NJPW World and everything else. So if you like that type of content, please feel free to rock with me and stay tuned. I'm about ready to lose my voice. I mean, man, this stuff is crazy. It's really sad. I love talking about positive things. I hate talking about stuff like this, but I also think it is necessary to talk about things like this because I did a podcast a little over a year ago around this time about Ashley Massaro's rape allegations that were brought forth in a lawsuit years ago. She passed away via suicide, and the allegations were never followed up upon. There was some BS statement from WWE, and that was that. And unfortunately, she never got justice. And look, again, allegations. We'll see what happens. But if these indeed are true, and I'm not going to say which ones I think are true for legal reasons, but a lot of them look pretty damn incriminating. I just hope justice is served. I hope these scumbags are weeded out. I hope that things change. And I hope no man or woman ever has to feel unsafe in a locker room ever again or backstage or in any workplace, especially in the industry I love, which is professional wrestling. Until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the matches. Thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all, and I'll talk to you again very soon.